Hello, this is Cece with Going Solo, and you are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And I want to thank you so much for joining us. We love to have you. We're going to move right into our guest today because we have a lot going on, jam-packed. We have an attorney here who knows his stuff, and I did a little research on him, and I'm really fascinated with the way he does business because I think that it is really moving in today's world with divorce. So I have Stephen Miller. Hi, Stephen.
Hello, Cece. How are you?
Oh, it's great having you. And Stephen, you also practice in Massachusetts and you practice in Florida.
I do. My primary practice is in Florida, where I've been a lawyer since 1985, and we do some work in Massachusetts on a very selective basis for logistical reasons, primarily. The systems between Florida and Massachusetts are quite different, so we just can't offer the same level of service in Massachusetts as we do in Florida.
Well, I'm from Florida, so we love having you here in Florida. Now, are there particular counties that you focus in, or are you pretty much wide range on Florida?
We represent people in all 67 Florida counties. You know, back in the day, which is before technology really took over, you just couldn't do that. You know, there'd be the occasional case where if you were in Broward County, down in Fort Lauderdale, maybe you get a case referral from somebody in Jacksonville or the West Coast, something like that. And so you'd travel. But now with technology, we take advantage of all technology to the advantage of our clients. And the goal is, keep the cost down, get them in and out of the process, whatever that process may be, whatever problem they may have, get them in and out of that problem and the process as quickly and cost effectively as possible. It's just as simple as that.
That's wonderful. Actually, that's good news. And we do want to save, the listeners money out there. So that's definitely important to us. So tell us, how did you get into doing what you're doing? Because I know you have pretty much a vast range in your background as being an attorney. You didn't start out in divorce. You started out in another field, and then you moved towards family law. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I did. I started out doing primarily personal injury and medical malpractice work way back in 1985. I did that exclusively, although, you have the occasional case where a friend or family member needs something done, but I did that exclusively for about 20 years, 25 years, something like that. And then sort of grew not to really enjoy that kind of work anymore because I don't think that I should be the ultimate healer of people, and that's what I was feeling. And what I mean by that is this, I would heal more people than most doctors, because when I used to slide that settlement check, across the desk, lo and behold, my back was better, my neck was better, the aches and pains all sort of went away, and I stopped enjoying that. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some people that are really bona fidely hurt and really need my help, and I still help those people, but I take those cases very, very few and far between accident and malpractice cases that I take. So I was looking for an area of the law that, I know it sounds strange for a lawyer, that we could actually help people and do good things. And we settled on this family law area. And what we found was that lawyers were charging ridiculous amounts for legal work that didn't need to cost ridiculous amounts of money, just didn't need to cost ridiculous amounts of money. And we tried to figure out a way, and we did successfully, I might say, figure out a way to offer quality legal services to every resident of the state of Florida for a fair fee, low-cost fee, cheap fee, call it whatever you will. But that was the number one goal, is to get people in and out of the process, because what we were seeing was that people that couldn't afford these ridiculous retainers and these ridiculous billable hour rates, they were left to their own devices, and they would invariably, through no fault of their own, screw it up. They'd make mistakes along the way. You can go buy a package of documents from the clerk, you can fill them out, you're going to do it wrong. So we focused on how could we help these people, how could we deliver these services, and the only way to do it really is online. Build websites, offer the services, get the message out there, and that's what we do. So that's why we sort of changed from doing accident and malpractice work to doing family law work, and it's quite rewarding, I must say. It's really an exciting area for us.
Yeah, I definitely think that we need to look at today's world because it's changing. And so the traditional way of divorcing, sure, we might still need that. But there are those cases that are more simplified, that doesn't need all of the parameters that that is taking place. And you can do a great deal of it online with forms and different things like that, with having someone like yourself, making sure that everything is done appropriately.
Well, that's right. But, here's the thing, and I'm sort of glad you brought it up. We just don't limit ourselves to the simple manner. I know you use the word simplified. Some people get that word confused. They go, well, I want a simplified divorce. A simplified divorce is a term of art. In fact, it's more complicated than just doing a simple divorce. So, yeah, we do everything. We just don't do the simple stuff. A majority of people we find really just want to get their issues resolved. So they tell whether they have children or don't have children. Most people just want to get their issues resolved. So a good majority of our clients come to us with full agreements both on child-related issues, division of property and debt issues, spousal support issues. And so those are easy cases. Those are uncontested cases. We do all the necessary work. We get them divorced about 30 days after we file the case in court. If you don't have any children, you don't need to go to a hearing. Even if you have children, I can keep you out of court. But we do the difficult cases as well. I mean, we litigate complex, intricate custody cases, property cases, spousal support cases, relocation cases, modification cases throughout the state of Florida. The theory is exactly the same. Low cost, flat fee, get in and get out of the process. Lawyers have a very bad habit when you're charging by the hour to do a couple of things. One, take a big retainer up front. Two, that retainer will be gone inside of 10 or 12 hours. They'll charge you for every phone call, every email, every reading of anything. And then the retainer's gone, and then they need more money. So you just got to keep fueling that machine, or your work's not going to get done. And the lawyers know that. So we aim to put a stop to that. It doesn't matter what the case is. It just doesn't matter. We handle every case from the simple divorce to the complex divorce to fights to horrible, horrific litigation. And one of the things that I sort of pride myself on is I'm not a lawyer glad-hander. I'm not a friend of many lawyers, because we do things the way that we want things done for our clients. And our clients want their cases resolved in short order, and they want it done cost-effectively, which doesn't play into the billable hour lawyer's hand who is billing out somebody. And so if I don't play their game, which is generate paper, generate more paper, make some phone calls, send some emails, talk to them a lot, debate, can discuss, go to lunch, whatever it is that these billable hour guys do to generate more bills, I just don't do that. Don't have time for it, don't want it. It's not what we're supposed to do, and it's not what my clients want. So we just don't do that.
Now, do you do a lot of this online? Because handling all the different counties, how do you handle everything
we do is online. Everything we do is online. I meet my clients online as we're talking now by video. I video conference my clients. I have clients all over the world. So I video conference my clients. We do a lot of work by email. We exchange documents by email. We talk to them on the phone. When it comes time for hearings, interestingly enough, the Florida rules of court, unlike some states, are very, very progressive. So I can appear telephonically throughout the state of Florida for about 90 to 95% of the work that I do. Those could be hearings, they could be evidentiary hearings, they could be contested hearings, they could be uncontested hearings. 95% of the time I can accomplish what I need to accomplish by phone. My clients never have to go to court for those matters. I generally don't have to go to court for 95% of the things that I do. Doesn't mean that we're not actively involved with hearings and talking to judges and doing all those things. It just means that the judges are smart enough finally, and the court system is smart enough finally in the state of Florida to recognize that having lawyers hang around billing out at $300, $400, $500 an hour is insane. Makes absolutely no sense. If I only have a 5 or 10 minute matter in front of a judge, why should I have to bill my client out $1,500 to go for a 10-minute hearing. It doesn't make any sense. And if you go to the courthouse, here's what happens at the courthouse. Guys that are in court at 8:30 in the morning for these routine hearings, they aren't representing one person. They probably have 3 or 4, sometimes 5 hearings at a time. So they're double, triple, quadruple billing for the same amount of time, 4 or 5 different clients. It's insane. That's why they want to go to court. It makes no sense. It's just a bad system. Not for the lawyers. The lawyers love it because they get paid by the hour. It's just a very, very bad system for the clients. Now, the other 5 to 10% of the time, sometimes there are absolutely unequivocally times that I have to go to court. Have to. No choice. Trials, very intricate stuff. You have to go sometimes. It's rare. I have hearings next week in Broward County, Florida, where I'm going to the hearings. And so my clients and I, we build into the fee, the potential cost of travel, whatever it is. And it still is a fraction of what they would pay a billable hour guy, because we do everything we can to keep you out of court. Nobody likes going to court more than me. I love it. It's other than helping my client and getting finality, it's entertainment for me, because I don't have a lot of respect for most lawyers. I shouldn't say most. For a lot of lawyers in the family bar, because I don't think they really understand what they're doing as far as rules of evidence and the goal. The goal is resolution. That's the goal. And so we do what we can do to resolve issues for our clients, as opposed to some other lawyers who really aren't focusing on resolution. They're just focusing on generating more bills. So
now, Stephen, let me ask you this: the process that you do, because you're doing it online, it seems like things are really expedited, a lot faster. So does that make the process go a little bit quicker? Because I think isn't an average about at least a year for a divorce?
Oh my gosh! The answer is that in an uncontested divorce case, I'll get you divorced about 30 days from the day I filed the case at the courthouse. In a contested divorce case, a lot of it has to do with, believe it or not, the judge and scheduling and that sort of thing. I can get a case ready to go to a final hearing inside of 60 days. There's really not much else to do. I mean, it's an exchange of certain financial information that people are obligated to exchange. If there are children involved, there's a discussion about children, and you have to go to mediation. But other than that, I mean, there's no reason that that a majority of family law cases, regardless of the issues, can't be resolved in 60 to 90 days. Now, there are certainly some cases that take more time. But those cases are really few and far between. If you have histories of domestic violence, abuse, issues about parents maybe on drugs, you need to get other people involved, third party, guardian ad litem, that sort of thing. Those are rare. Those are really rare, but it happens. And so when it happens, you deal with it accordingly. But we still move them along relatively quick.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing, because I have heard experiences where, I mean, it's taken years for something to get resolved, just to get into doing the final hearing. And so it's really great to hear that. So tell us a little bit about how we can get a hold of you.
You can get a hold of me. Our website is floridadivorceme.com, floridadivorceme.com. Our toll-free number is 877-348-3354. And for all your YouTube viewers out there, our channel on YouTube is Florida Divorce TV. Florida Divorce TV on YouTube. We have all our videos there. We have a lot of client interviews. What people want to see. Here's what people want to know about. They want to know about your clients. They want to know about what kind of job you did for your clients. And so we don't do just testimonials. Oh, Stephen did a wonderful job. We talk to them. We interview them. What did you hire us for? How did you find us? What did we tell you? What did we do for you? Were you prepared? Were you represented the way that we believe that clients should be represented and the way that you expected to be represented? So we have a lot of those interviews on there. The other thing that we have on our website is we have actual court hearings that I've recorded over the years. We have a custody hearing. We have a modification hearing. There's a deposition on there of a woman that I had to take her deposition, who was seeking a modification in a very complicated child custody case. So we put a lot of videos on there because we want to educate people about the system. Unlike a lot of lawyers who aren't interested in that, they sort of want to keep it a secret. But people feel more comfortable with you and with the system if they know what to expect. Sometimes it's not all good news. I mean, sometimes you should expect something not so good to happen. But we tell you about all those things. One of the big problems with lawyers is lawyers tell people, generally speaking, what they want to hear. Unfortunately, if that's what you want, don't call me. I'm going to tell you what you need to know, which is sometimes quite different than what you may want to hear. Sometimes they're exactly the same. But sometimes, what you want to hear isn't what you need to know, and that's my job, is to tell you what you need to know. But that's how you get in touch with us.
Well, that's great. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, maybe you can give us a couple tips, and we can talk about mediation. How do you handle mediation? Because you do so much online, I wonder if you can also do that through the phone. So we'll talk about that. So we have Stephen Miller with us, and he is with FloridaDivorceMe.com, and his YouTube is Florida Divorce TV. I would highly recommend it. I've watched some of them myself, and his phone number is 877-348-3354. So definitely give him a call. Make sure you write this down. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more, and I'm kind of excited to hear a little bit more that Stephen has to share with us. So you are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is Cece with Going Solo, and we want to thank you so much for listening to our channel each and every week, and also listening to all the other wonderful shows that we have here on WGSN-DB. We take you right through divorce recovery, transition of dating, inspiration, business, and we're hoping that we really make a difference in your life, one talk show at a time. So let's get right on back to Stephen Miller. He is an attorney, and he deals in the Florida area primarily, but also he does handle some cases in Massachusetts. He's really doing, I think, the law with regards to family law in today's world. He's really making a change in divorce, and we want to thank you, Stephen, for being on the show.
Oh, my pleasure, Cece. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a delight. Well, the first part of the show, you really enlightened us as to how you can practice, make things that go a little bit more, I think, smoother, a little bit quicker maybe, and really have more control over, I think when, just back it up here, I think a lot of times us as the layperson going through divorce, it's so fearful. We don't know what to expect, what to anticipate. There's a lot of things going on. And so when we hire an attorney, we really want that attorney to be, representing us and make us feel like, okay, we've got bases covered. And so I like what you're saying with regards to, really saving your client's money, but also being effective, being as effective as you possibly can. And so I appreciate that as being one that deals with helping people through divorce. So, I really think that you are changing the face of divorce today. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what we aim to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us now, I know that in Florida, usually, isn't it, am I correct that you have to go through a mediation?
Yeah, everybody in Florida is required to go through mediation. The only exception to that is, even though there's a requirement, is most judges will excuse us from mediation if it's a matter involving relocation. Relocation is one of those really touchy issues that even judges recognize. There's really no middle ground. Either you're going to allow relocation or you're not. So that's an issue that we generally don't mediate. But for the most part, yeah, everything goes to mediation. Settlement conference. Everybody has to go to a settlement conference. Which I find interesting because years ago I would sort of balk at it when it first came into vogue. But now it's required, and I think it's a wonderful thing. For my clients, it's really, really good because, again, we charge a flat fee for mediation, and logistically, it's one of those matters where 95% of the time I appear telephonically for mediation as well. I'll video in, I'll call in, I'll speakerphone in, whatever it is, I'll do it because from a cost factor, it's obviously much better for my client. I'm still there. I wouldn't change anything that I said or did at mediation just because I'm not physically sitting at the same table or in the same room. The other reason that appearing electronically for mediation is good for me and for my client is because, as I tell my clients, listen, when we go to mediation, if you want me to go, I'll be glad to go. It's okay. It's just going to cost you more money to get me to go live, but I will, but I think it's a bad investment. The reason I think it's a bad investment is because ultimately what's going to happen is you, my client, and we're going to sit there sort of staring at each other and twiddling our thumbs. And I'm going to continue to work because I'm going to have my computer with me. The reason I say that, and I don't say that in jest at all, is because when I go to mediation, it's a negotiation, but I make my client's position known right out of the chute. In the first 2 minutes, here's what the case is about. This is what we're looking for. Thank you very much. So I can pretty much summarize any mediation in about 5 minutes. Here are the facts. This is what we're looking for. This is what we'll do. Is there room to negotiate? Sure. There's always room to negotiate. But the position that I set forth at the outset is really our position. If you want to tweak it a little bit, modify a little bit, we're okay with that. But I don't make any bones about it. Mediators that know me and lawyers that know me and clients that know me know that's how we work. So if you want me to sit there and twiddle my thumbs with you for an hour and a half while the mediator talks to the other side and tries to convince them or explain to them why Miller's right or why Miller may be an idiot and, we should never agree to anything that he says, which I'm sure has happened as well from time to time, but we make our position known. So it's mediation, if the case isn't resolved, and I'll say 2 hours, people say, okay, we're going to mediate, we'll do it for the whole day and we'll order lunch. I go, the whole day? I haven't mediated a case for an entire day ever. So if it's not done in 2 hours, I'm gone. Me and my client are gone with the wind. We'll go see the judge happily. Now, obviously, there's exceptions. If you're moving along and it's a complicated case, perhaps you need to spend a little more time. But honest to goodness, even the most complicated cases, if you're not prepared for mediation to settle it and know what you want, know what the case is about, it's a real problem. And unfortunately, when I go to these mediations, the lawyers on the other side, I can honestly say 70% of the time, they're just not prepared. Haven't talked with their client. Client doesn't understand what's going on. Client doesn't understand the issues, doesn't understand the numbers, doesn't understand the law. And that's just a problem with the lawyer, because the lawyer hasn't prepared their client. Preparation is key. Doesn't matter whether it's mediation, doesn't matter whether it's trial, doesn't matter whether it's deposition, doesn't matter whether it's a hearing, it's the client's case. It's not my case, it's their case. So we start preparing for every matter. The very first time that you call me, it's all preparation. Worst case scenario, I'm a worst case scenario guy. Worst case scenario is that we have to go to court. That's your worst case scenario. So if I know that's your worst case scenario, I'm going to start preparing for that day one. So in a month or 2 months or 3 months, when I say that we have to go to court because we can't get something resolved, and you'll say to me, well, when are we going to prepare for the hearing? My answer is the same. We've been preparing from day one. Now it's just a matter of pulling everything together, pulling the pieces together, and that's it. So my clients are always prepared for everything. They know everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a comfort because I have personally myself, when I went through my divorce, I went to mediation I think several times. And then my divorce, it's the day of my divorce, it was a 3-day hearing. So wow. Yeah, it was a pretty draining experience. So
draining.
Yeah. And I'm no further ahead than what I was when I started. So, other than I do now have a lot of debt because I have the attorney's fees. So the thing is I just think that we need to look at it differently. And at the end of the day, we're going to get divorced, especially here in Florida. If one party wants to do it, that's what's going to happen. And so we just need to try to figure out how we can, get through it the best way we can. And I think really the fastest, trying to ease the burden of the expense that we incur on divorce.
Oh, the solution is really simple. It's like Shakespeare said. First thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. Except me, of course.
Well, I and I'm not downing attorneys at all, but I do think that the process can be reevaluated and should be reevaluated. And I like what you're doing, Stephen, because I think that in today's world, you're capturing that. You're moving forward and you're you're doing something a little bit different. And I like the online bit because I think that we're all online all the time now, so let's take advantage of it. Let's use our time wisely.
Yeah, who the heck wants to go to a lawyer's office? Worse than the dentist.
Yeah, really. Well, I don't know. Sometimes they can be pretty fancy, right? And they offer you a nice drink.
Oh, sure. Hey, have a nice drink, sit on our couch, the girl come out and, woo you a little bit. That's a beautiful thing. That's what you like. I just can't help it. It's
Yeah,
not
and remember, you're paying for that.
yeah, you do pay for it. You do.
Yeah. But no, there is, there's some great attorneys out there, and I'm certainly not downing that, but I do like what you do. I think that there's a place for it, for sure.
Beautiful. Well, we're here to help. That's what we do.
That's great. Okay, so give us your contact information one more time.
All right, I'm Stephen D. Miller. Our website is floridadivorceme.com. Our YouTube channel is Florida Divorce TV. A lot of videos, a lot of informational stuff. Some funny ones as well. Take a look, enjoy, and if you need help, I'm here.
Right, absolutely. And the phone number is 877-348-3354. So you can give Stephen a call there too if you'd like to talk to him. So I thank you so much for being on Going Solo with CC and WGSN.
Well, thanks for having us. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure. Certainly was.
Yeah, it's very nice, and I like changing the face of divorce. So I like what you're doing, and I wish you all the luck. And if we can, send any work your way, I'm sure we'll definitely do it right here on Going Solo.
Thank you again.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.